I am saying we just have to be careful of the message that we send. I could have said that same thing that that individual said, but said it differently. We have to be careful of the message that we are sending when we say these things and when we do these things, when we create all these programs in prison to reform prisoners and all of that. We have to be careful of the message we are sending. You cannot have prison. You cannot create a prison system. We would look as though the prisoners are being rewarded for the situation that land them there, the crime that they commit that land them into prison.
Rewarded, Leon, you're making a mistake there, because they were not rewarded for what they did. They were in prison for 20 years for what they did. When they come out, they should be surprised to see how we have taken them. Do good to those who have despitefully used you, and you will heap coals of fire on the head. I believe that.
Well, I disagree with that.
There's no reward. What we're doing now is not a reward. Because they did not have a reward, because that fellow didn't have a reward because he raped a woman. He spent 20 years in jail.
And
20 years. 18 or whatever. So when he has done that, it is time now that we can ease our fury, because he has paid for what he did. He has paid for what he did, and we will now give him a chance to see how he will now gel in a world where he needs to be socially accepted. But if we now give him another 20 years out of prison, in prison, what you would expect?
And you must say that we should be all embracive, and he should be surprised to see that we accept him with open arms.
He will then learn that when you do evil and people treat you good and they surprise you, you even begin to feel sorry for what you did. Do you know that if you had a child,
I disagree with that.
If you had a child, that child did something wrong, and you flogged it, the child feels, well, I paid for what the wrongdoing did, which was lateral across my back. But if the parent said, you know, I feel real hurt about what you've done. You've disappointed me. I didn't think you would do that. That child is moved to penance more than if you give me lashes. Because if you lash the child, well, God, I get lashes sore. People will, do you know that people take their children, when somebody interferes with the child, they take the child, two children may fight, and one person tries to find which was the aggressor. Or he interfered with my daughter or my son. I take it to the parents, and once the parents get a good flogging, I am satisfied. You know that all my anger gone? Because the child paid. The child paid for it, got lashes. In my presence and in the parents' thing. So, you know how we describe that? Justice was seen to have been done. Justice.
And that child may never want. And that child may never want to go through such an embarrassing position again.
You never know, because the child may get angry and think that I was unfair. Oh no, there's no one way to that. The child may get very angry and decide to get rebellious. While there are some other children who may succumb and learn from the flogging. All I'm saying is this, that we need to embrace people, and that does a lot more. That does a lot more than ostracizing or beating. It does.
I disagree. You must be embarrassed out of thinking.
But you worry about, you know what 18 months in jail?
You were embarrassed. 18 months in jail is the way how some people behave, like that's a holiday for them. A lot of criminals behave. That's a holiday.
I still want you to tell me what you should do with people. You're saying that do something that they won't want to go back. Something like what? Kill them, shoot them, hold them and take out their tongue. What should you do? Don't tell me something.
I believe in getting a just Jews. And if you ask me to design a system where I feel that someone who commit a rape should should be. This is the consequence for such a person who committed a rape.
Because it that he spent about 10 years in jail or 15 years in jail.
And not just 15 years sitting in jail.
Jail is not a hotel. He spends 15 years in there away from friends and family. Lost his freedom.
And who put him there and who is responsible for that? Who is responsible?
He did, but he paid for it. He was not excused. He was not acquitted. He spent 15 years in jail. What more you want to do? Kill him?
John, what I'm getting from you is that we have been unjust to him by having him spend 15 years in jail. I am saying he spent 15 years in jail or 20 years in jail. He deserves it. And that's the consequence for what he have done.
Well, right, so if he did that, he didn't do anything more? And he got 15 years in jail for what he did. He raped somebody, 15 got jail. When that 15 years expired, what are you going to do? Give him another 15?
I'm not saying that. And see, that is not the point of argument here. You are saying now that he comes out back into society, and society should welcome him with open arms, should embrace him. And I'm saying no. I am saying it is normal for society to stigmatize him and for him to be stigmatized. It is normal for him to do it because of what he have done. He have done something very terrible. You've done a very heinous crime, and it is normal. And you are being unfair to society. You are being unfair for society to now embrace such a person.
You know what we should do when he has spent that 15 years? When that 15 years expires and he comes out, you know what we should do? What society should do now? There should be a law that you can put a tattoo across his forehead mark, rapist.
John, if you look back at the history of prison reform and sentencing, you will very well see that in itself was a form of punishment, and one form of punishment was to embarrass the individual. I was doing some research before this program, and embarrassment was one of the penalties for when somebody committed a crime and all of these things. And as you might very well see in some states throughout the United States, where they will have certain laws where people will have to be tagged, or what you might call be monitored after they come out of prison. Systems like these and situations like these still exist, where these persons are monitored. Right?
My argument is that the statutory books show a penalty for the different felonies.
Right, and there's no argument there.
No argument there, and they get it. When they get it, that is it. That is it. They have got it. Justice has been done. Give them a chance now to be a citizen again. If they violate it, then they're back into prison, or you do something else for the new thing they've done. But you can't you punish a man twice for the same crime. It is not fair.
I am not saying that she should be punished by the state
for
the same crime. That is not my argument. That is not my argument. That is not my basic point here. That is not the point of contention here.
Society is more cruel than the state, because the state.
And I have no argument with that neither, and it should be. It's unreasonable for you to think that society should not be cruel to somebody who committed a crime, who committed probably a very heinous crime such as rape or murder or something. You're being unfair. You're being unreasonable. There should be.
So okay, why then don't we forget imprisonment and let the society deal with them?
You know,
why we don't do that? Forget imprisonment.
You raise a very interesting. No, you see, you raise a very interesting point there. Because if you do that might well solve the issue of crime. But however, once you operate in a society with laws, and you operate within a certain level of democracy and all this sort of thing, you have a system to follow. We still got
to look. Right now, we've been looking at prison penalty. We haven't looked at rehabilitation yet, you know.
I know
because what we got to understand is that if rehabilitation is an active program and it works, then the graduates who come out wouldn't need to be ostracized by the society because they would have graduated to being rounded citizens.
I still disagree. I am saying to you, if you have an individual in prison, and they go through a program of rehabilitation, what they should also be learning in that program is that don't expect society to embrace you. Teach them how. Listen, hold it, because you see, you can't. The system cannot tell me how to think or how to treat you. The system don't have that power to tell me how to treat with you and how I should embrace you. That's one. So in the program, what we should be doing is to prepare the individual to deal with such a situation when they come out, knowing, look, you've been through all this in prison. You have been reformed, and now we think you're a changed individual. But we have no control over how society will embrace you. You are still going to be stigmatized. So that individual should be educated enough to know that, and to prepare the individual to do that. Because there can be no program or not even any law they can make to prepare society to deal with someone who comes out of prison also.
In other words,
the individual should comes out with the know-it-all, with the expectation and they should be adequately prepared.
In other words, Leon,
yes,
as long as I go to prison, I suffer the leopard syndrome, spotted, forever and forever. Amen.
I am no.
That is what you said.
No. That is not what I said. I never really said that. No, come on, no. What I am saying to you.
Do you know that we say a lot more by not saying than by saying?
No, but I thought I made myself clear when I said you will have to come out with the know-it-all.
That from now on you are a leopard.
No. You have to deal with that situation. You can't prove yourself to society.
How are you going to do it when I'm not even giving you the chance to get near me?
I don't have to give you a chance. I don't need to give society. Do not need to give you a chance. You're asking society to do something that is unfair. To not give you a chance to accept you. Society don't know they was not in prison with you. Your neighbors was not. Listen to me. I was not in prison with you. So I just can't accept John Kilman, the rapist, the pedophile, back into and say, oh yes, he's been a changed man. He had friends 20 years in prison. I was not there with you. You come out of prison now. I will have to don't tell my daughter, my niece, my family, watch John is back out on the streets.
So yes. He's a leopard. Be careful when he's spotted.
Yes, be careful of him. Yes.
If you do that, Leon, no man is an island. You must live in society, and if you're not in society, you are in exile.
John.
I'm in society, and if I live in society, I live among you. You people who don't like me because I'm a leper. So what am I to do? I am not part of this.
No, that's not part of the proof.
I'm a stranger in your paradise. I'm a stranger in your paradise. I'm not accepted. So what do you want to do? How can I be one of you ever again when you don't accept me?
That will take some time.
That you don't accept me. I
am saying to you that will take some time, and it will take some doing to know that you're a leopard. I will not get you a leopard. I wouldn't be a leopard too. That will take some time. You can't tell me I have known nothing about your leopard situation, how you develop leopard. And if I touch you or go close to you, I wouldn't get. Why? I don't know that I wouldn't get it too. It will
But
take some time. It will take some time to know that if I touch you, I wouldn't get leopard.
When I was a leper, I was thrown into the pool of Bethesda for 20 years, and I came out cleansed if we talking rehabilitation. And therefore you need to accept me as a changed person. Let me prove to you that I haven't changed. But don't take it on yourself, or he can't change, he ain't changed. Be careful. Don't bring him. We're not embracing him.
I don't know that. I don't know you changed. You could go to what program you want in prison. John,
if you close your door, how would you know what perfume I'm wearing?
John, I may even smell the perfume and I don't even know what perfume I'm wearing. I may even smell it. John, what I'm saying to you, John, I just came out of jail for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Embezzlement and all these things. Right away, I spent 10 or whatever years.
Mm-hmm.
I go on and look for work. I asked to work with recommendations and certificates of character, all these sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
I brought one from the prison. Are you telling me now I should be placed back in a position where I once was, and I committed such crime? Because now I went through a program in jail, in prison. I went through a program in prison, and now I'm a reformed individual. I have changed, so I should be accepted. And you should not stigmatize me. You should not even look at that, because you know what? I spent 10 years in jail and I went through this program. Now it's time for you to put all that, just wash that water under the bridge. I'm a new individual. Accept me. You employer, accept me now. Are you saying it should be like that?
I am saying, help me to stand on my 2 feet. Don't push me down.
And I am saying that is not my job. That is not my position.
Whose job is it? You are in society. I want to rejoin the society where you never left. I left society. Take me back in society. Who can take me back in?
And who made the choice to go in prison? Who made the choice to go in prison?
And I spent 20 years for making the wrong choice. I spent 20 years for making the wrong choice. And I'm not going to kill anybody because I went for 20 years, because I admit I was wrong, and therefore I spent 20 years. I waited until that time was up, and I was released. Because I
owe you that thing.
And I'm saying right now, so when I come out now, the people outside now have their prison. Not here. Move on. Well, not here.
It may sound right, it may sound harsh, but I am telling you, that is one of the consequences you will have to suffer.
To Mars or Jupiter, where then can I begin to set down anything? I can't. You wouldn't even let me put down a stone for a ground sill.
John, my physical.
Just run right.
Yes, I am saying,
you are.
John, what will happen, John, when what you'll be sending is a strong message for people who have the potential to commit crime, to see what the consequences are when you commit a crime.
You see it because
that is what you will be sending. That's the message.
But we're not acquitted. We're not acquitted in the court. 20 years in jail for doing this. 20 years in confinement.
I remember growing up as a child.
So when I spent 20 years in confinement for the wrongdoing which I did, and I come out now, the society now has its own court.
And that is not unreasonable? That is not unreasonable?
You don't think that we should hear the views of a few others who might want to call?
Yes, yes, we would be taking calls in a while, but let me just make this point. Mm-hmm. I am saying that is not unreasonable. It is not unreasonable for society now to try you. I am saying to you, we can't send a message. I remember, there was a situation or program where there was some, I think they used to call it special works or something like this, where men came out of prison and they used to go on to this job. They used to get these jobs when they come out of prison, so that they wouldn't go back and all of that. And I'm saying to you, there are people outside here who never go to prison, who never make the choice to go to prison. and who would have wanted employment and they couldn't get employment. You know, we have all these deportees coming back into the Caribbean here, even here in Trinidad, and people talk about all kinds of programs for these deportees now who coming back home, because if you don't create a situation or some kind of program that will able to take care of them, what you will have is that crime increasing and all these sort of things. And I'm saying to you, what about the people who stay home, who never went anywhere, who make the choice to stay in Trinidad and work and all this sort of thing, and who can't get employment? You're taking somebody who has spent home almost half or more, most of their life in the United States. They run afoul of the law, come back home, and you must now, as they reach back home here, you must accept them with open arms. You get them into some program, they get employment, they get housing, all of this. And then the people who write here, who would have worked, who have stayed here, who will get returned, they can't get a job. What kind of message is that you are sending? You know, I don't believe in these things. I believe that when you make choices in life, and you make the wrong choice, I am saying you should suffer and pay dearly for it. You should suffer the consequences.
You did that for 20 years, Leon. For 20 years you did that. You did something wrong and you paid the price.
Right. And what about me out here? I didn't go into prison for 20 years.
You didn't do anything wrong? The person inside did something wrong, and that's why they were in prison for 20 years, and you were still outside going to this fete and the next fete, and nobody can tell you not to go. They couldn't go. The privileges had been cut.
Okay, you know, let's get ready to take the call. But my basic point is this: we can't be a society. We can't have a society. We will send a message to those who have the potential or who may be vulnerable to committing crime. That if you commit a crime, you're going to be rewarded for it. You must. It must be known at all time, and it must send the message that the consequences for committing a crime is very telling. It's very, very telling. You made a mistake. When they spend 20 or 30 years in prison, you now have to come out and face a society that you will pass. You will have to come out and face a society who will pass judgment on you. And some people criticize that, and I find that is not unreasonable. That's my opinion on that. People want to say that a person comes out of prison and they don't want to give them a chance. All they're doing is condemning them. What? Why? What is that?
That's where you stand, and here's where I stand. Here's where I stand. When you have committed a crime, you pay the penalty by being imprisoned, or you pay with a cash commensurate with what you have done. And when that has been done, you have paid the price for the wrong thing you're doing. And then I think it is incumbent on the society to give you a chance to prove your worth. If you fail in that venture, then the avalanche can fall on you again. But you need to have a chance. A man has paid his dues. Give him a chance to see how he will now operate. Will he go and rape again? Because you can't stop him from raping. You're going to be with him all the time in your pocket. So what I'm saying is this: he gets 20 years for thing. 20 years of his life has been taken away. Forevermore, whenever he comes out, he will be known as a rapist. But do not use that to tell him, well, don't come near my property. If I am catching this bus, you catch the other one, or you walk. You're not to drive in any bus with us. You don't do that. Let him be a part of us and see how he will prove himself. See if he is fitting back into society, or he needs to be back in prison. But you have to give him that chance. You cannot decide, well, he is forevermore a leopard, and therefore spotted.
Okay, I will want the callers to come in here to participate in the program, because I think we're definitely going around in circles here, because I will hold strongly to my view.
And me too.
That.
So we will hear what our audience.
While you're in prison and you go through your punishment and you go through all the programs in jail, I am telling you, that the situation in jail, the authorities in the prison do not have any say in how the society should treat you, and should never have any say. And I'm saying it's pretty normal, and it's really unfair when people criticize the society for stigmatizing a person who comes out of prison for committing a certain crime.